ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, has a lot of money. It has much more money than any previously known jihadist group in the region. In fact, estimates are that ISIS is making about $1 million, perhaps as much as $2 million a day, which means that it is self-sustaining. It can fund all of its activities. It seems like it is increasingly becoming a state. Well, where does it get the money to run its operations? Well, there are three areas where ISIS gets money. The first is outside donors. These are primarily rich Arabs of the Gulf region, particularly the state of Qatar, that are sending money, oftentimes through something known as the Hawala system, which is sort of informal MoneyGram Western Union transfer system for Islamic states. It's a means of getting money to these terrorist groups. So they use this informal money transfer to get groups like ISIS, as well as others, the cash to fund their operations, to pay fighters, to buy equipment, and to plan attacks. Then there's also, of course, the mafia state activities of a group like ISIS. See, ISIS is a criminal enterprise, and as a result of that, they have means of making money through the black market and also through more insidious tactics, shall we say. For one, the Islamic State is known to engage in kidnappings for ransom. This is a means of raising some money, although it's become a bit harder as they have continued to crucify, behead, and murder people by the thousands, to actually find people who can be kidnapped and then ransomed. On top of that, of course, there are some other means, protection money collection, for example, and also, of course, just the pillaging of resources that already exist in places like Iraq and Syria, seizing funds from banks in cities that they have overrun. These are all ways that ISIS has and continues to finance itself. ISIS has actually managed to seize some state property in places like Syria and Iraq, including oil wells and oil refineries. They then take that fossil fuel and sell it on the market, particularly to Turkey. They're selling it at cut-rate prices. In fact, the estimate is that the Islamic State in the region will sell you oil for a quarter the going rate in Turkey, and it is undercutting its competitors across the region. The Islamic State is not just pretending that it has control over these areas, it is exercising that control for its own financial benefit. So as long as they have indigenous funding sources, even if we were able to dry up the outside funds they get from wealthy Gulf donors as well as other places, ISIS is still going to have money, which means it's going to keep fighting until we make it stop.